Today we are at FIL-Lisbon. Hi, I'm Ian. Nice to meet you.
Good to see you again, Ian. This is Stefaan from Protocol Labs.
How do you feel about FIL-Lisbon?
Great, awesome city, and a lot of new announcements that we've made this week. It's really excited. Last time we met was in Singapore, right? So I'm hoping to share a couple of things that we announced this week because there's a lot of progress that we've made in the last month.
Could you please introduce yourself briefly to our viewers?
My name is Stefaan VerVaet. I work for Protocol Labs, responsible for network growth. Network growth includes the storage provider ecosystem, Web 2 customers moving data to our network, and data programs such as Filecoin Plus, Evergreen, etc.
Since FIL Singapore, is there any changes?
Yeah, lots of changes. One, we internally have created a bigger team, so we've been hiring to support network growth as a focused area for Protocol Labs and to help grow the Filecoin network. Two, we actually announced a couple of really cool things. One being the Decentralized Storage Alliance. So I've been working with AMD, Seagate, Ernst & Young in the last 10 months, and that collaboration has been ongoing in the background to improve efficiencies for sealing, but also reduce costs and get the technology, basically the new technologies from these vendors to our storage provider ecosystem. And so yesterday we announced officially the alliance. It's at dsalliance.io. You can have a look at it, and it's really a combination of Ernst & Young, AMD of course, Seagate, Protocol Labs, and Filecoin Foundation. And the goal there is to really align on not only innovation, really innovating new technologies for the ecosystem, but two, also enabling the Web 2 customers with best practices and how to take advantage of Filecoin, libp2p, and IPFS. That's why we're working with an Ernst & Young. We have plenty more of these large tier 1 Web 2 vendors coming to us right now after that announcement, because they're realizing that we're here to stay, right? And so we need to build more bridges, and this alliance is going to help us build that bridge between Web 2 and Web 3. A second big announcement is we announced another large customer, Atlas CERN. CERN is one of the largest hydrocollider institutions in the world, and they are now storing, or they're going to store 10 petabytes of data onto the Filecoin network. Again, another example of how researchers are taking advantage of the Filecoin network. Because as a researcher, when you're storing this massive amounts of data and you want to do research, you want to spend as much of your budget as possible to compute, so you can actually find insights and find new, discoveries basically, right, for your paper. And so what Filecoin provides them with is this very cost-efficient and scalable architecture that allows them to offset some of those costs and spend more time on compute. So it's a perfect match. So great announcement again. We have University of Utah, we have UC Berkeley. We're seeing a trend globally, not only in the US, but also in Asia, where we see a ton of more research opportunities. And also now, media and entertainment, right? Movies, films, that are now we're seeing more applications showing up from Web 2. That really are struggling with storing actual data on traditional systems. A third one is probably video data, like smart cities. So we're seeing some initial smart cities coming up that are interested in looking at using Filecoin, but not just Filecoin, but also this week we announced Saturn. Saturn is our first retrieval node, our retrieval solution. So basically a content delivery network is going to be able to be built on top of Saturn. So we're seeing a lot of interest there because that completes the stack from not just storing, but eventually also be able to cache the data at the edge, which is a perfect opportunity for IoT use cases in smart cities. Lots of answers, right? Sorry, that was a long answer for you.
Then can you specify what is DS Alliance once again?
Oh yeah, so DS Alliance is a Decentralized Storage Alliance. And so the reason why we put this alliance together is because we needed an alliance that would really bridge the Web 2 world with Web 3, because we're currently in a position where we're seeing a ton of growth, right, in Web3. You know, native Web3 developers, builders love our product. And so we need to get this product to the masses. And so we need to bridge and bring those Web2 native institutions, but also enterprises eventually to Web3. And so that is going to require, one, awareness, meaning really like demonstrating Filecoin to, you know, to that ecosystem. Two is going to be enablement or training, really like showcasing them, like here is how it's done, right? This is how you set up a Filecoin system. This is how you move data into the cloud. So it's going to be a combination of building reference architectures, building best practices, and then demonstrating on, you know, how to implement this on new technologies. That's why we were so excited that, you know, AMD, Seagate, and Ernst & Young are the first founding members with us starting it, and they're running, you know, Filecoin systems in their labs. They're testing it because they're all very aligned with the future of Web3, and so they want to be ahead of the curve, and they want to give our ecosystem the best, you know, technologies. Now, you know, the alliance is just the beginning. You know, there's a lot of storage providers and also Web2 customers that have asked us, where do I start, right? And so it's a combination of not just our reference architectures, but also maybe it's templates on how to create your master service agreements. You know, basically it's more than just technology. It's also like the business side. How do I actually start to do business in this Web2 world with Web3 technology? So it's a beginning of what we believe is a long-term engagement, because we are taking a page out of the book from the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, and they've demonstrated to be successful. I mean, they've implemented this in a very successful way. So we want to take the same approach.
Yesterday on your presentation, you said that there are many Korean SPs that are actually participating on the Filecoin Foundation and Protocol Labs. Then, do you aware of that? And also, like, how can they get aids or kind of help from the Filecoin Foundation?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. So since the first time we went to Korea, which was amazing, we actually then went to Singapore, and we saw a ton of Korean SPs joining us in Singapore as well. We had more conversations, and also we built better connections, meaning connections between European, US, and Korean SPs. And I would encourage the Korean SPs to continue to, like, you know, participate in our events, but not only that, go to some of our platforms that we are building to connect storage providers worldwide, right? So Big Data Exchange is one of them that's successfully demonstrated a way to connect data with storage providers that are currently looking on how to store data. Second is the Project Moon Landing. So we have Project Moon Landing that we kind of initiated. Actually, the first time we kind of presented it to the community was in Korea. And so what we realized is that we need to spend more time in translating our projects, our landing pages into Korean language. And so we've been working in the background with some storage providers to help us build you know, that content and translate that content, because we realize that it's, you know, a combination of not translating all the content that we have in Korean, and also, you know, making sure that there's an end-to-end relationship right across the globe. So go to Project Moon Landing, go to Evergreen, which also allows you to take deals. Because right now our focus is predominantly to help our ecosystem in storing deals. And so there's a lot of you know, deals out there, meaning data that you can actually take advantage of, because with Filecoin Plus, every storage provider that is applying for Filecoin Plus or customer has to work with 4 other storage providers and create 4 other copies around the world. And so you have to build the connections. But you can do it in Korea, but you can also do it across the globe. And so we're seeing today a lot more data being replicated, actually, from Europe to Singapore to Korea, and that's really exciting. So we're seeing some early signs of storage providers starting to take more deals. And that's our goal for next year. By the way, we set a goal for next year. If you look at how much data we're uploading today, we're uploading around 3 petabytes or more sometimes of data onto the network, so data deals. We want to get that to 10 petabytes in next year, and we want the total data stored on the network to be 2 exabytes. So today we're around 280 petabytes. basically we want to multiply that by 10 by the end of next year. And we think that's very feasible, but we need everyone's help to come do that.
That's it for the interview. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. All right. Was that helpful? Oh, sorry. Sorry.